Over the past few days, a lot of people have become very upset online after old FBI documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein started spreading again. These papers caused huge discussions across social media. Celebrities, commentators, and people from the entertainment industry began speaking openly, asking why certain powerful names were suddenly showing up again, and why the timing felt strange instead of random. As more people talked about it, attention turned to what was described as a massive release of Epstein-related FBI files. These are documents that many people have been asking to see for years. Once the news spread, social media exploded. People began sharing summaries of the files, pointing out familiar names, and questioning why some individuals mentioned had avoided serious attention for so long. In the middle of all this, Kanye West joined the conversation. He publicly accused Jay-Z of possibly trying to leave the country shortly after Jay-Z's name started appearing online in connection with the documents. Kanye said the timing looked suspicious, and his comment made the online debate even louder. Kanye also reminded people that he has been making similar claims for years. In the past, he said that Jay-Z and Pusha T were spending large amounts of money to stop damaging information from becoming public. At the time, many people ignored those comments or said Kanye was exaggerating. But now, with renewed focus on the documents, some online users are going back to those old statements and wondering if they were dismissed too quickly. For anyone just catching up, this controversy goes back many years. People have been pressuring the government to fully release everything connected to the Epstein investigation. Epstein's legal problems first became widely known in 2006, but public interest never went away. Many people continued demanding full transparency about everyone connected to the case. The situation began in March 2005 in Palm Beach, Florida. A family reported that their teenage daughter had been mistreated at Epstein's home. After that, several other young women came forward with similar stories. The case quickly grew into a national scandal. In July 2006, Epstein was arrested after a grand jury indictment. However, after years of legal negotiations and secret agreements, he received what many people later described as very light punishment. He served a short sentence starting in 2008 and was released in 2009. That outcome has remained controversial ever since. Later court documents included claims from one accuser who said that when she was 17 years old, Epstein and his longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell arranged meetings involving very powerful people. These included politicians, wealthy business figures, and members of royalty, such as Prince Andrew. These claims made many people worry that Epstein's network was much bigger than previously believed. In July 2019, Epstein was arrested again by federal authorities in New York. Prosecutors said earlier deals no longer protected him. Only weeks later, officials announced that he was found unresponsive in his jail cell. His death was ruled a suicide, but many people around the world have questioned that conclusion ever since. Public suspicion grew even stronger after long-requested documents were finally released. Many online users believe the files show that well-known figures were connected to Epstein in some way, even though the exact details are unclear and disputed. One name caused an immediate reaction: Jay-Z. According to online summaries of the documents, an anonymous accuser claimed she had been incapacitated during an encounter and said Pusha T acted as a handler. She said that when she regained awareness, Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein were in the room. She did not say Jay-Z took part in any actions, but the claim alone caused shockwaves across social media. As soon as these claims began spreading, the reaction was explosive. Comment sections filled with disbelief, anger, and speculation. Many people said they never expected Jay-Z's name to appear in any Epstein-related discussion, even though quiet rumors about his connections to powerful industry circles had existed for years. As the discussion grew, attention shifted to Jay-Z's long-standing relationship with Diddy. Around the same time, an old video from a Roc Nation brunch resurfaced. It showed Jay-Z looking uncomfortable during a private conversation. Some online commentators claimed he might have been secretly recording the exchange, pointing to what they believed looked like a Ring-style camera. These theories spread fast, even though there was no proof. People also noticed that these events stopped happening not long before Diddy's legal issues became public, which added more speculation. Even people trying to be careful said the situation raised uncomfortable questions. Some argued that even if Jay-Z wasn't involved in wrongdoing, his presence in certain situations didn't make sense. That uncertainty alone kept the conversation going. From there, things escalated. Old interviews and clips resurfaced where public figures hinted that Jay-Z and Beyoncé might have had indirect connections to Epstein's larger network. Online communities began comparing timelines, appearances, and statements, turning it into a full digital investigation. An old Kanye West clip also began circulating again. In it, Kanye named Jay-Z and Pusha T and accused them of serious behavior, though he offered no evidence. What stood out to viewers was how specific his accusations sounded, which added more fuel to the debate. Later, comedian Corey Holcomb made claims during a public appearance, saying Jay-Z and Beyoncé were connected to disturbing practices tied to Epstein's gatherings. These statements were his personal claims and not supported by evidence, but they spread quickly and caused strong reactions. Soon after, a 2024 clip of MIA resurfaced. She claimed Jay-Z and Beyoncé pressured her to get cosmetic surgery and participate in ritual-like performances involving symbolic imagery. She said she felt uncomfortable and believed these expectations were spiritual or ceremonial. Again, no evidence was provided, but the clip went viral. Then, 50 Cent joined the conversation. He suggested he might produce a documentary focused on Jay-Z, similar to his project about Diddy. Because 50 Cent often follows through, many people believe this could increase pressure on Jay-Z if it happens. As criticism continued, a few public figures tried to defend Jay-Z, but their comments seemed to make things worse. When the Shade Room posted about Jay-Z's name being mentioned, the post disappeared within minutes, no explanation. This led many people to believe powerful forces may still control what stays public. More controversy followed when Lizzo and academics defended Jay-Z. Instead of calming things down, their comments caused more backlash. Some questioned why they spoke up at all. Others argued that being mentioned in files doesn't automatically mean guilt. One commentator explained that millions of documents exist, and names can appear for many reasons that don't involve crimes. This view suggested people should be careful before jumping to conclusions. Still, the debate kept growing. Some people compared the situation to past claims made by Jaguar Wright, saying Jay-Z could eventually face the same level of scrutiny as Diddy. At this point, the conversation is fully in the public's hands. Supporters, critics, and skeptics all see the same events differently. Some believe this signals deeper problems. Others think the internet is turning facts into fantasy. Now the question everyone is asking is simple. What do you think? Do you believe Jay-Z is truly connected to the Epstein controversy, or is this another case of online speculation growing out of control? Share your thoughts in the comments. The discussion is far from over, and if you want to stay updated as this story continues, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. More developments are already being debated, and the conversation is only getting louder. Is this the truth finally coming out, or is this the internet creating a story that has taken on a life of its own? To understand why emotions are so high, it's important to look at the history behind the Epstein case and why trust in the system has been broken for so many people. The first public accusations against Jeffrey Epstein came in 2005 in Palm Beach, Florida. A family reported that their teenage daughter had been mistreated at Epstein's home. Soon after, more young women came forward with similar stories. The case quickly gained national attention. In 2006, Epstein was arrested and charged, but instead of facing a long prison sentence, he received a plea deal that many later described as extremely favorable. He served about a year in jail under special conditions and was released in 2009. That outcome shocked the public and raised serious concerns about how power and money may have influenced the justice system. For years, people asked why Epstein was treated differently. Court documents later included claims from accusers who said Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell introduced them to powerful individuals. These claims included politicians, wealthy businessmen, and even members of royalty. While not all claims were proven, they painted a picture of a wide and powerful network. When Epstein was arrested again in 2019, many believed the truth would finally come out. But his death ended that possibility, at least officially. Since then, people have demanded the release of all related documents to understand who was involved and how deep the connections went. That brings us back to today. The resurfacing of Epstein-related FBI documents has reopened old wounds and raised new questions. Online summaries claim that several famous names appear in different contexts. One anonymous allegation mentioned Jay-Z being present in a situation connected to Epstein's circle. Again, no crime was stated, but the presence alone caused outrage. The internet quickly moved beyond the documents themselves. People revisited Jay-Z's past relationships, business partnerships, and industry connections. His friendship with Diddy became a major focus, especially given Diddy's current legal issues. Old videos, photos, and interviews were reanalyzed. Then came the resurfacing of old accusations. Kanye West's past statements about Jay-Z and Pusha T were replayed. Comedian Corey Holcomb made claims during a live appearance. MIA described uncomfortable experiences she said were pressured by powerful figures. None of these claims came with evidence, but together they created a storm of suspicion. At the same time, public reaction to media behavior made things worse. The removal of posts, the silence from major outlets, and the quick shift to other news stories made many believe information was being controlled. However, not everyone agrees with the outrage. Some commentators argued that being mentioned in documents does not mean guilt. They explained that large investigations include millions of files, emails, and contacts. Names can appear for many reasons that have nothing to do with crimes. According to this view, the internet may be confusing association with wrongdoing. This argument gained attention when DJ Academics spoke up, saying people should not jump to conclusions. He compared it to knowing someone who committed a crime. That alone does not make everyone around them guilty. Still, public trust is low. Many people feel that powerful figures are protected in ways ordinary people are not. Past examples like R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and Epstein himself make people believe that silence often lasts until it suddenly breaks. That's why some believe Jay-Z could eventually face deeper scrutiny, while others say this is unfair speculation fueled by the internet. As of now, there are no charges, no official accusations, and no proven wrongdoing tied to Jay-Z in these documents. Everything being discussed remains allegations, online claims, and speculation. But perception matters. In today's world, public image can change overnight, and once questions are raised, they don't disappear easily. The internet continues to debate, investigate, and argue. Supporters say this is a smear campaign. Critics say this is long overdue scrutiny. Skeptics say the truth is somewhere in the middle. One thing is certain, the conversation isn't going away. People are watching closely, old stories are being re-examined, new voices are speaking up, and the public is deciding for itself what to believe. So the final question remains: is this the beginning of real accountability, or is it another moment where rumors grow louder than facts? That decision is now in the hands of the public, and the discussion is far from over. At this point, one thing is very clear. This story is no longer just about documents, allegations, or old cases. It has become a much bigger conversation about power, trust, and who gets questioned when serious issues come to light. For many people watching this unfold, the resurfacing of Epstein-related files feels like reopening a door that was never truly closed. For years, the public has been told that justice was served, that investigations were complete, and that the truth was already known. But every time new information appears, it brings back the same uncomfortable feeling that something important may have been left out. That feeling is what keeps this conversation alive. When powerful names appear in discussions tied to someone like Epstein, people react strongly, not because guilt has been proven, but because history has shown that influence and money can delay accountability. Many past cases have taught the public to be skeptical. That skepticism is now shaping how people respond to everything they see. At the same time, it's important to slow down. Being mentioned in documents is not the same as being guilty of a crime. Large investigations include millions of files, contacts, emails, and names. Sometimes a person's name appears simply because they crossed paths with someone at some point. That distinction matters, and ignoring it can lead to misinformation spreading faster than facts. This is where the conversation becomes difficult. On one side, people feel that powerful figures have been protected for too long. They point to past examples where serious wrongdoing was ignored until it became impossible to hide. On the other side, people warn that jumping to conclusions can damage lives and reputations without evidence. Both sides believe they're standing up for the truth. That tension is exactly why this story has grown so large. It sits at the intersection of justice, celebrity culture, social media, and public distrust. It forces people to ask hard questions, not just about one individual, but the entire system. Why do some stories disappear so quickly? Why do some posts get removed without explanation? Why do some voices get amplified while others are ignored? These questions matter just as much as the documents themselves. Another important part of this moment is how fast information spreads. Clips from years ago resurface overnight. Old interviews suddenly feel new. Statements made without evidence gain attention simply because they fit into a larger narrative. In that environment, separating facts from opinions becomes harder every day. That's why responsibility matters for creators, commentators, and viewers. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to be skeptical. It's okay to demand transparency. But it's also important to remember that speculation is not proof, and allegations are not convictions. As of now, there are no official charges tied to many of the names being discussed. Everything circulating online remains part of a public debate, not a legal conclusion. Ignoring that reality can lead to serious harm, even when intentions are good. Still, public pressure has always played a role in uncovering truth. Many past scandals only came to light because people refused to stay silent, because they questioned official narratives, because they demanded answers even when it made others uncomfortable. That history is why people are paying attention now. The key difference is how that attention is used. Will it lead to careful investigation and accountability, or will it turn into noise that drowns out real facts? That choice belongs to the public. This is where you come in. Instead of reacting instantly, take time to think. Look at multiple perspectives. Ask where information comes from and why it's being shared now. Notice what's missing, not just what's loud. If you believe transparency matters, support responsible journalism. If you believe accountability matters, demand evidence, not rumors. If you believe justice matters, protect both truth and fairness. And if you believe this conversation is important, keep it focused on facts, not fear. This moment is not just about Jay-Z, it's not just about Epstein, it's not just about celebrities. It's about how society handles power. It's about whether influence still decides who gets questioned when serious issues come to light. It's about whether silence is broken by truth or replaced by speculation. It's about whether the public can learn from the past without repeating its mistakes. No matter where you stand, staying informed matters. So now the conversation continues, but how it continues depends on all of us. If you believe stories like this should be examined carefully, not just blindly accepted or dismissed, make your voice thoughtful. If you think powerful figures should be questioned the same as anyone else, say that clearly. And if you believe the internet needs to slow down and separate fact from fiction,